A feather flock together. So I want to introduce a very dear friend. We kind of met because we're birds of a feather. We're both starting off as young salesmen. I was working for Xerox and Blair Singer was working for Burroughs, and we were learning the most important skill of an entrepreneur. And the single most important skill of an entrepreneur is the ability to sell. And Blair is world-renowned. He's the best teacher for people who want to be entrepreneurs, teaching them the number one skill of an entrepreneur, which is the ability to sell. So may I introduce the number one sales and leadership teacher in the world, friend Blair Singer.
Thank you.
Many years, isn't it?
Many, many years.
From nothing to here.
That's right. That's right.
So congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. Thank you. How many of you have ever had a $1 million idea? You know, it could be a product, a service, a business opportunity that you were absolutely convinced was going to knock it out of the park and make millions with. How many have ever had that thought? Okay, good. But how many of you also know a lot of people that have $1 million ideas that didn't make $1 million with that $1 million idea? Thank you. How many of you know somebody like that intimately well? I'm talking about you sitting in that seat. There's one word that prevents most people from taking their $1 million idea and turning it into millions of dollars. That one word is sell. That one word is sell. So for many people, this is a four-letter word. Many people say, I don't have to sell. I'm a teacher, I'm a lawyer, I'm a professional. Or some of them might even say, my product will sell itself. So here is the rule of entrepreneurship. Sales equals income. That's right. Sales equals income. If you can't sell, there is no income. How many of you know people who complain that they don't make enough money? The reason is because they can't sell. Remember, sales equals income. If you can't sell, there's no income. If there's no income, there's no business. There are a lot of people out there that think they sell, but they don't make any money. See, talking and selling are not the same thing at all. When I was first starting out, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I knew that I had to learn how to sell. Now, when I first started, I was terrible. I actually almost got fired from my first job because I was so terrible in sales. But I realized that salesmanship begins when the customer says no. And I refused to put quit on the table. So I kept calling and calling and calling and getting thrown out of offices and hung up on the telephone. So after all that rejection and almost getting fired more than one time, not being able to eat, not being able to make a car payment, I realized the most important sale of all was me selling me to me. Once I realized that the most important sale of all was selling me to me, that's when my sales went up. So on the wall where I work in my first sales job, there was an expression that said, salesmanship begins when the customer says no. That's when most people stop. But when the customer says no, that's when the sale begins. Not only the sale to Mr. or Mrs. Customer, but most importantly, me selling me to me. Your most important job is you selling you to you. This four-letter word, sell, is the most important word for your success. So think about it this way. A little baby crawling around on the ground, sees mommy and daddy walking, thinking, that might be a good idea. So what do? They pull themselves up onto the side of something, let go, and what happens? Boom! On the ground. What do? They sit there and go, oh my God, I failed again. I'm never gonna walk. Of course not. They go, come on, get up, do it again. So they crawl, grab the banister, grab the couch, they pull themselves back up again, let go, and what happens? Boom! On the ground again. Do they say, failed again? I'm never gonna walk? I'm gonna give up? Never gonna walk for the rest of my life? Of course not. They say, I'm gonna try it again, and again, and again, and again, and they're gonna fall again and again, and sooner or later, they walk. That's selling themselves on walking. So they're happy now because they can walk. Then they get another brilliant idea. Bicycle. Let's try that one. And what happens? Boom! Again, on the ground. Do they say, never gonna ride a bicycle, that's it, I'll only walk? Of course not. Again and again and again. The baby sells themselves on riding a bicycle just like they sold themselves on being able to walk. And then guess what happens? They go to school. So in school, teacher asks a question, they raise their hand, all excited to answer the questions. Teacher says, wrong! Then what happens? All of a sudden, baby learns that making a mistake is a failure, that there's something wrong, that it was a mistake, and you never make mistakes. Because if you make mistakes, you're stupid. If you make mistakes, you're going to fail. If you make mistakes, you're never going to get a good job. So you graduated from school and you got the job, and here you are. Only one problem. You're not making very much money. And you hate your job, and you hate your boss. But you're trapped. Because what are you going to do? Because you were taught not to make mistakes. So you think that maybe your solution is that you're going to start your own business. But then your friends tell you, that's stupid, you're going to blow it, you're going to screw up. And you were taught, remember, don't make mistakes. Statistics show that 9 out of 10 people that go from here to here fail. Why? Because they don't know how to sell, number one. And number two is they convince themselves that they're a failure, just like everybody said they would be. They think my teacher was right, I am a failure. My brother was right, my mother was right, I'm a failure. And what happens? They quit. They retreat. Go back to the misery that at least was comfortable to them. What successful entrepreneurs do is they move into here knowing that they're going to fail. And they're going to fall down. But they're going to learn. And then they're going to fall down again. And they're going to make more mistakes. But they're going to learn from them until after a while, they actually get pretty good over here and say, oh, I'm pretty good over here. This is just like the McDonald brothers. They were pretty good at making burgers. And then they figured, maybe I'll move over here. That's when they were introduced to Ray Kroc, who took them from small to big, knowing full well that there could be even more mistakes over here. I have some friends, and you may have some too, that are stuck right here because they make mistakes, but they don't learn. They're arrogant. They blame everybody else. They think it's the market's the problem, and they keep falling down, and they keep making mistakes. But the difference is they don't learn a thing. They're stuck here. The most important sales job starts inside your head. That's why I wrote this book, Little Voice Mastery. Mastering the little voice between your right ear and your left ear. Am I going to succeed? Am I going to fail? What if my friends were right? What if I starve to death over there? What if I lose money? What if they don't like me? Millions of people are stuck here in the E quadrant, in jobs they don't like, not making the money they want to make because they forgot what the baby learned. They forgot that it's about making mistakes. They forgot that it's about standing up again and learning from your mistakes. And so what they do is they live here always wondering what it could be like if I was willing to take that other step. That's why the most important word is the word sell. It's you selling you to you. Thank you.